Hello, hello. I'm a bit tired today, so I think I canceled my former placeholder. So let me give people a few minutes to come in and let's see if they can find us. So, hello, it's now officially spring. And yesterday we went to dinner with my daughter and her Andy, their family, and celebrated Andy's birthday. So we were very happy to do that. It was a wonderful restaurant and really good food. So that was wonderful. Let's see. I'm hoping people... Oh, here we go. Oh, thank you for finding us, Miss Mitty. Thank you. So I'm very, very tired. I got home yesterday around noon, just before noon, and then went out to dinner with my daughter and her sweet Andy. And then I didn't want to wake up this morning. The Siberian wind is back. Yay. Hello. Oh, it's so good to see everybody. I missed you terribly. So, I'm sorry that I accidentally canceled the first event. And I was sitting here and I don't know, just tiredness. So, hello. Oh, good. I'm glad everything is working. Mark has worked so hard to teach me, but I'm very tired. I tell you, if Mark hadn't woken me up, I was still sleeping at 1:30 today. So it's just going to take me a day or two to rest up. We had so much... Oh, did Marsh... Uh-oh. Oh, we need our Marcia to find her way back. I wonder what... Because she was in the other one. But it is so good. I'm so glad to see Mitty and Siberian Wind. Siberian Wind, is there a first name you'd like for us to call you during the chats? Charlene Lawson is here from Florida. I bet you it's beautiful weather down there. Mary is here. Oh, Anna Ryan, hello. So nice to see you. Well, I just got back from a Monday through Saturday morning retreat. So I've got lots to tell you about that, lots to show you. Got some good prizes, found some great fabric. Oh, I wanted to show you, we'll start off with this while people are still... We can call you Tammy. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you, Tammy. We could keep calling you the Siberian Wind, but it didn't make us feel like we were getting to know you. So we're tickled. We're tickled to call you Tammy. So it is so nice to see everyone. So I have been working the last year and a couple months on an English paper piecing, and Mary has done much better than me. She's gotten more done, but I'm going to finish this because there's a great new one started. I've already got the fabric for it. Just can't wait. So, and if Mark is still listening, I'm just going to say that again. Mark, I already have the fabric for my next English paper piecing because usually he hears, oh, I've got this new quilt I want to do, but I need new fabric. And he's like, what is that all in that big closet downstairs? But anyway, I wanted to show you that part of the pieces, I use this orange. Now, I didn't buy the fabric specifically for this project. I bought this fabric because it was so darn cute. And then I said, oh, I'll use it for this. So my yellows were getting low and my oranges. This was the last of the orange fabric. Now, you know, putting pressure on our Mary, but you know that I'm very frugal. I mean, frugal. Pennies run when they see me. But I tried to take the little tiny pieces of leftover orange and pieced them together to try to make enough for the last of these. It would not work. You can't put tiny little pieces together and then make a small piece out of it. It was just too bulky. So what I did is I went to my closet. No, actually, I bought this fabric. I bought this at the retreat. And what I did is just said I'm going to find the closest orange to it. Alberta's here. Oh, you've been sick with the flu, sweetheart. I'm glad you're doing better. I am glad. You know, the flu was terrible. Oh, that just reminds me. Mark and I are going this week to get our next COVID shot because the AARP put out a notice and said, listen, guys, if you haven't had a COVID shot in 6 months, get another one, because COVID it's not like flu and only bad during the winter. It has several cycles. It's year round. So we are going to be going this week to get our next COVID shot. And as far as Mark and I know, we've tested numerous times. We've never had COVID. So I'd like to keep that going if I can. So anyway, but this is the orange I'm going to use to replace it. And I don't think it's going to matter. And so, Mary, I've got all of the pieces cut out for my next to the last block. And I plan to work on that this week. So anyway, and then Mary, I'll make sure we've got the same pattern for the next one if you would like to keep going with this English paper piecing. And that'll be great. All right. Well, I just wanted to point out the Ukraine flag because we still stand by our Ukrainian friends. And as my daughter is a teacher, I want to stand with the Department of Education, and we'll move on now. So, okay. It was the best retreat this past week that I think we've ever had. And Nancy and her cohorts, Becky and Heidi and Carol, did an outstanding job with the retreat. I can't thank them enough. I want to show you. Okay, I started this retreat back in 2012, and we didn't really have money, and I was trying to keep it very inexpensive for a lot of the ladies are in my quilt group that were on fixed incomes. But I wanted to give them a few treats and things, for coming to the retreat. Hi, Kathy Klein, sweetheart. So I took and bought these really cheap artificial fabric totes, and then took and made these little iron-on patches for them, and had to be careful because how do you iron on a patch but not melt the artificial fabric totes? So it was a mess, but I was trying. But now look, Carol is the most amazing, talented woman. Look at the quality of this tote. Look at the zippered pouch, the gusseted bottom. Isn't this wonderful? Yes, and there's a zipper inside. A zipper on a tote makes all the difference. But look at what she does for us on these. Whoops. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? So, these ladies have this quilt retreat purring like a kitten. It is wonderful. So thank you, Carol. I'm going to treasure that tote. And I've got prizes and fabric that I bought. We have a fabric vendor that comes, which is so great. We had a man come to sharpen scissors and tools. It was so good. And it's so great to see y'all. So we had a prize table. We had giveaway table. Oh, let me see. Hold on a second. Do you know how I found a place to buy these iron-on stickers for t-shirts and things? I had this binder chock-a-block full, and now look how empty. So the vendor is so inexpensive that I can sell them for just a couple dollars a piece. And in fact, I'm wearing one that I did myself. In fact, you know what? This is the t-shirt. Remember I told you I'd redesigned the collar? It was a long sleeve t-shirt, and I cut off the sleeves because I hate long sleeve t-shirts. And then I put a wonderful, let me pull this out. I put a wonderful iron-on decal, and then now I'm looking awfully quilt stylish. So, but I put a little money box on the table with the things and just did the honor system. Was shocked when I saw how many sold. So it was fun. I've got pictures of the site itself. And it's a wonderful Salvation Army camp. Wait till you see it. It is gorgeous. And then I've got some pictures of people sewing, pictures of some of the food. It was wonderful. But I'm exhausted. I don't know about y'all, but I don't get enough exercise. And so then, all of a sudden, when I try to be very busy, it's exhausting. It really is. And unloading and loading the car, I can't. Hold on. I'm sorry about this. I should have found a better place. I want you to be able to see everything. But I'm absolutely exhausted. And that's a good sign to me. If you come home from an event and you are tapped out, then you had a good time. And I managed to sit out in some sunshine and work on things, and it was just wonderful. The ladies, I forget sometimes, I spend so much time here alone with just Mark or whatever, and I'm happy. I'm happy to be alone and work on my things. But when I get out in a group of people and you're hearing laughter and you're hearing joy and the whole myriad of things, it really is good for you. So if you can at all find one of these little retreats or make one of your own, find a little town, a room in a town library or something, and just have people come together and just bring stuff they want to sew and just sit and chat and talk. It's wonderful. This is a very inexpensive one as far as retreats go. And so a lot of times you can find a facility. Like I say, this one's run by the Salvation Army. And having sewing and quilting and scrapbooking groups during the off-season, their season, they do summer camps for very deserving children. And so using the off-season to rent it out to people like us, they can put more money into the kitty to sponsor these children. So it's really wonderful. It's camp lodging, so the beds are not comfortable, and there's no frou-frou. But the room we sew in, wait till you see the pictures. It is gorgeous. And we have 2 meals a day, so we sit and sew, we get up, we walk down 50 feet, and there is the dining area of the room, and we eat, and then we just scrape off our plates, and we walk back down and sew. You can't beat that. So, all right, what I was working on, we'll start it this way, because I have written my agenda, and since I'm so tired, it helps to keep reading that. Just to tell you really quickly that the Seascape narrow strip quilt will resume next week along with the 3D. Michelle the Quilter is here. Oh, thank you. Yes, this is that shirt, that long sleeve shirt that I don't know if you can see. I cut the sleeves and hemmed them. I lowered the neckline just a little. Before I get going too far, I want to show you something. Just again to show you this is the stencil quilt. And this is the quilt where I took, let me get some light on it. I took paint and textile medium and baking soda and thickened the paint so that I could then take a foam brush and paint the thickened paint over a stencil. And so you get these beautiful designs in the fabric. And this is just fabric I've had in my stash, paint that I've had in my stash, and y'all helped me pick out a beautiful border for it. And then I'm going to put it on the quilt frame this week, quilt it, and bind it with nice sharp black. So I just wanted to show you this again. It went to the quilt, to the retreat with me, and I got to share it. But this is a very special quilt, and it shows if you want to make something fancy and you don't want to have to spend money, there are so many ways to do it. So think outside the box. Okay, this right there, I took it to work on to try to take off wayward stitches before I bind it. That is a pink flange around, right there around the edge to give it a little spark. And once I get all of the stitches out of the way, then I'm going to bind that, and that's going to be going to my daughter Katie. So that's what I've been working on before I went to the retreat. And this week I had no time to do any hand embroidery, and so that and the seascape will pick back up next week. I think I'll be about done with the seascape except for the handwork, so that will be really nice. You love the circles. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Is Pat here too? Oh, Joe is here, Miss Joe and Pat. Oh, it is so great. I wish there was a way to contact Miss Marcia, and I don't know how to do that, but oh darn. So what I had been working on before I went to the retreat is I love the sparrow quilt, but doing it, I had so much fun making that quilt. It is a precious pattern. The pattern came out about 2 years ago, and I decided that I wanted to shrink the sparrow quilt, and because the blocks are very big, and it just keeps on going. And I had a couple ideas as I was making it. And you know, when you find a good quilt pattern, which that is, then your mind instantly goes to, what kind of different colors could I use? What kind of different embellishments can I do? So I decided to do all the things I want to do with it. I really needed to shrink the block because the old quilt was 10 deep by 15 3/4 wide. So that's a big block. So I said, okay, I'm going to shrink it. Oh, thank you, Pat. It is so good to see all of you. What a beautiful spring day. And so what I did is I took the pattern, went to my EQ8. I showed y'all last week if you want to look at last week's to see what we were doing. And I took and made a copy of the picture of the one block, and I did a trace because they have that function at EQ8. And I traced it, but then trying to figure out rotary cutting, what size to cut. Since so much of this quilt is made based on half square triangles, if you'll see the pattern everything. Everywhere you see a triangle is where you sew a square and turn it into a triangle. Flip it, sew it, and flip it. So when it tried to give me the cutting decorations I needed, it kept trying to give me triangles, and I couldn't get the size needed to know what size square, because I don't like to cut and sew triangles together, because you have a terrible big bias side, and then that you'll never get them to fit right. It's so hard to work with a bias seam. So what I did is I just looked at the EQ8 screen and counted all the little 1/4 and 1/8 inches and figured it out on my own. And oops, I was hoping, okay, here we go. So after I did that, I made a sample block, and I'm trying to remember, I think I said, oh, I don't need this sample block. I've already shown them. I was going to show it to you again, but I think I said, I don't need that, and I put it away. Yeah, I don't see it. So I made a sample block where I found a couple glaring errors. So then I corrected that, and I thought I had it pretty good. But then when I actually went to make it again, I found 3 more. But here is my first sheet I made of my new cutting measurements for each piece. But now I think I have gotten it all worked out. And let me show you what I got done. I thought I'd have the whole quilt top done. But in shrinking these blocks, I realized instead of 24 little birds, I now need 28. But it's okay, because I'll show you what I hope it's going to look like. Whoops, they're flying upside down. Pardon me. Get them flying the correct way, Deb. So, wow, it's going to be, let me see. Do I go this way? It's still going to be pretty wide. Okay, so I need to come this way with it. But here is what I've got. And I had seen a woman, let me fold it in half so I can get closer for you to see it. I saw a woman in the class, because see, I just took this class 3rd week in January. And I saw a woman working on the birds, and she was using Stonehenge fabrics. And I saw that and thought, oh, I love that. I want to do that. And here's the other side. I saw that and loved it. And I thought, you know what? For these triangles, I'm going to make them 3 different green fabrics. So like they're leaves. And I didn't want to have to be so strict with my colors. Mark and I go through about a quart and a half of sunflower seed a day because we love feeding the birds. So I said, I'd like a memento of our bird feeding and get some of the favorite colors of the birds in the yard. We love our bluebirds, our cardinals, our goldfinches, and what else was there? Oh, our little like house wrens. The purples are supposed to be like house sparrows. So anyway, but we love all of those. And hopefully when I'm done, this is roughly, I'm going to have, I forgot to turn around all of my rows, but I'm putting a little love note to Mark in it by having these 2 little birds facing each other. I'm going to make sure to have a Mark and a Deb bird. But this is what I hope that it's going to look like when it's done. I'm going to put about 6 or 7 inch border on it. And on the border, I'm going to applique branches and leaves. So I'm going to have branches and leaves going around the edge, and I thought of putting some little bird's nest in the branches and leaves. Then I decided when I quilt it, I'm going to use the bare space to, in matching thread to the background, quilt in branches and leaves. So it was like taking the class was my starting point, and now I'm running with it. So I'm really, really tickled with this. Let me see if I can find who. I don't have my full pattern down here, but trust me, if you type, because whoever designed this did a fabulous job, and if you type in fact, let me see. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Do I have... I was hoping to find out who is the quilt designer, but I don't see it written down. But type in Sparrow quilt pattern on your Google machine and you will find it. So I'm really, really tickled with this, and I hope to have all 7 rows done, but I'll take 2. Now I was going to show you why I don't have. I have a feeling, to people in the class, I'm considered a slow quilter, but I am very particular how I start things. Regal Rose is here. Hi, beautiful. Oh, speaking of the colors and the fabric, thank you, Regal. You saying hi to you and seeing your comment made me realize I went to Marshall's Dry Goods to buy the fabric. They have a line, I think they're called Earth Colors or Earth Paints, but they have a line of fabric that is very reminiscent of a kind of Stonehenge, and it's $4.99 a yard. Well, let me tell you, it's beautiful fabric. It's wonderful to work with, and it was so inexpensive. I was really pleased. Here is my big bag of it, and it is just wonderful. Now, I did supplement a couple, some of my own fabrics in, because once I got it in, I realized I wanted 2 purples for the purple bird, 2 blues, 2 reds, 2 yellows. So, I'm going to, whoops, I forgot. I've got 2 cameras now. How cool is that? So let me set this up. I thought, oh, today will be nice and smooth and easy because it's the 3rd time I'm using this system, the OBS system with the double cameras. But then I forgot how tired I would be and that I haven't played with it in a week. So let me now show you the close-up of how I like to work when I take a class. Okay, here we are. Let me bring over a little light. What I do, I label things like a fiend. I mean label. So when this, let me show you this. Okay. All right. This pattern came with a cute little page of labels so you could mark everything. And I love the baggy method. If you don't have labels, just use a permanent marker or put a piece of tape across and write on the tape. But, okay, and here, as usual, I keep a scrap bag, and you never know when you might run out or need something, or then just put this in all these pre-cut 2-piece triangle sets you can turn into half square triangles. Alright, here is going to be the sashing for the blocks and the cornerstones, so that's sashing. But I like to cut everything out. Then here's for the bird's right facing, and then I have a right facing beak. Here's all the bodies for the birds. Here's all the pieces that make up the head of the bird. And this one I think is P. So I have PQ in, And here is the chest area pieces for the birds. And you see, this is only 3 different fabrics are in for the chest. And that's the way I wanted it. I wanted it a little bit more controlled. It's left facing, right facing, left facing bodies. This is for the tail piece plus some of the leaves. So what I like to do is I sew as many of the components as I can. And since so many of the components are backgrounds in leaves or beaks or eyes or whatever, I try to sew everything I can. Let me show you this one. Then that way I feel like that I stay more organized, because you know I'm a little ADD, so I can get distracted easily. But let me show you this. Here is, whoops, nope, I forgot I turned this way. Here are 2 of the leaves. Then here is the tail. All of the tails I am keeping the same. So, you know, because I wanted a little bit of uniformity in there. But so this is totally sewn together. And this will go on one side of the bird when you're putting it together. And let me show you the beak sections. But for me, now you can work whichever way you want. Some people like seeing instant gratification and they want to put each block together. Here is the beak section. There's the little beak. I sew all of these different components. And let me give you an example. Here is a head bagging. So, in this, I have all the pieces needed to make the head, except for some of the background pieces, which I'll show you in a minute. So for the eye, I needed, it's a lot of fiddly cutting, but it works. Okay, so here is one of the black eyes. And you sew these to it, and that makes the little eye. Then you have, I want to get a version here so I don't make a mistake. Alright, so here's the head. So I showed you the beak that's going to go on this end. So this right here will have a little square of the Q on it. You'll sew it a diagonal, flip it back, cut off the bottom 2 layers. So that will go here, this will go here, and then the next piece is going to be this one, and it will have a, where is my P? Nope, this one is going to have an N. So let me just give you a quick little, if you've never done these, really quick and easy. And you know what I do? They tell you to draw a line diagonally across the back. I hate doing that because the fabric wants to bunch up, and well, if you use a board with sandpaper on it, it keeps it from bunching up. I just hate doing it. So what I'm going to show you real quick is the method I use so that I can have an accurate line, but I don't drive myself nutty. And what I'll do often is put 2, maybe 3 of the squares together, and then I make sure the points are, everything is right, folded perfectly. I bring the iron it, and then there you go. There is your diagonal line. You got to make sure though you fold it so you fold it right through that point. So then for this piece, this is the background, this is the bird's head. So you're going to place this right here. You're going to sew just to that side, because see, it's going to fold this way. When you fold fabric, it takes up about a thread's width to make the fold. So if you sew directly on this line, you might find that when you fold it, it ends up being a little short. So what they call it is you're going to make a scant seam allowance, which you're going to go one thread to that side of this ironed line. That way when you go to fold it, you've got a perfect unit. Then when it looks good and I turn it to the back to make sure it's lined up, and if it all passes inspection, then I take and cut these two layers away, leaving a 1/4 of an inch. Very, very simple. Then save those two pieces because you can use them for something else. So scraps, or start turning them into blocks. So anyway, here we go back to the, so this is now on this. Let me grab this real quick. Now the eye is not going to look normal because seam allowances make a big difference, because all of a sudden it's like, whoa, that is, you know, that eye doesn't look right, but that's okay. So all right, so now I've got this here, and here, let me put the eye on. Well, either way, it's going to be a little big looking, but it works out when you've got the seam allowances done. So there we go. Now we've got the bird's head. Then you'll put once you put it to the body, you'll have a beak strip here, and then the other one will be the leaf strip that's hooked to the tail. And that you have to make sure everything lines up. It can be, if you cut it just right and sew it just right, it is fine. All right, so that's how I do it. Then that way it takes me very little time to actually start putting the blocks themselves together. So everything I need for the heads, and I have all the different colorways in here, purples, reds, yellows, all of that. And I'm changing up things. Let me show you, because I don't want to just have 4 color birds. So you'll notice this blue. Well then, look at this blue. He's got the head, the head and the body colors have been, where did I, oh, see here he's got a dark head and a lighter body. Here he's got a lighter head and a darker body. And I changed the color of the chest. So just mixing it up and having fun. And here are the little areas that with the matching quilting thread, I'm going to do branches and leaves quilting around the bird. So I'm so excited to get this done. This one is going to be my quilt. But I love this. I don't often make one that I go, this is just for me. But now I'll put all this away and let's go back and see what we want to do next. Oops, let me try to, I always have to find my little, let me see, hold on. Here we go. All right, so that is, now, I'm not saying anybody has to make their quilt that way. It's just the way I do. And for me, it tends to work better because I don't feel as overwhelmed. And when I go to finish this quilt at home, I'm going to put out a folding table, a good sized table, and lay all the pieces out in an order that I feel like I can work with. So that's how I do it. All right, now, so then let me see. Yeah, I think I told you everything and about the sparrow quilt, but it's such a sweet pattern, and I love the shape of the little bird. It looks like a bird who swallowed a ping pong ball. It's a sweet little bird. Okay, so during show and tell, I've got all the retreat pictures. I have show and tell that we had during the retreat. And Carol is an amazing quilter. She's a professional quilter. She professionally quilts things on her frame, but she also takes quilts on commission and makes them. So she's amazing. And hers are always the much sought after, plus some other really fascinating quilts. Then, let's see. I think that part is it. So do you think you want to see the fabrics I bought and the prizes and the freebies? I will bring these over to show you. I'm trying to figure out which camera's better to show you on this. But I found some of these boxes and I've decided I'd grab, this was off of the prize table. But these have nice big sections, and I've decided this is going to be good for my paper beads where I need a bigger, bulkier box. So we have a wonderful prize lady, Becky, and so she'll call us up by tables. She gives out nice prizes she'll call their name and draw a name and give them their prize. So that was good. I'll put the fabrics just out of the way over here and show you those in a minute. This came off the prize table. It's a beautiful yard of fabric, and I just love the color and the pattern of it. I think it's so pretty. Then I got this book off the prize table. And I think it is lovely. I'm hoping to learn a lot of good things with this because I do love applique. And I just passed something that said to applique the birds. And I went, birds? I don't know if I'll get to see it again now, but it was so neat. But oh, yep, there's birds. So, but I think this is going to be a wonderful book for me. And then we did we did a new thing this time. We're all aging in this group of ladies who've been doing this retreat for a while. So I volunteered to be a taxi driver because at night is when people needed a ride because you walk uphill to the lodge. And it's hard, it's tough. And a couple of the ladies gave me a gift card. That was so sweet. They really didn't have to do that. It was my pleasure. Oh, and this tub with lid I got off the prize table too. Then they had giveaway tables. So look at that beautiful metallic, and this is old too. You can look at the packaging. Made in the USA. Original price was $1.80. But look, isn't that the cutest? So, and you know, I love all kinds of trims because of the embellishing we do. And then a beautiful, no, this I think, was this on the prize table? I'm trying to remember. But beautiful Coats and Clark's cream color, which might as well leave that right over there. The two colors I use for piecing are grays and creams because they work for just about anything. Then this was on the giveaway table, and these are pre-printed blocks. But I have been watching this woman who does hand embroidery, and she will use pre-printed panels and embellish them with hand embroidery. She uses pearl cottons, things like that. So I said, I saw this, I picked it up. I said, it'd be fun to try, see what she does. Free zipper on giveaway table. A free vinyl tote bag, because since I've started my cleaning, everything has to be in a container. No more just stacked up places. Everything has to be in something. This came from the giveaway table. Another big blocky storage box. I have found if I can keep everything in a container, I'm happier with it. Here are packages of interfacing. I mean, elastic. And I was finally getting near the end of my elastic stores. So when I saw those for giveaway, I wanted them. So now let me get this stuff out of the way to show you the fabrics, because, hey, that's what everyone comes to see. Trust me. So, Jam Fabrics is based here in North Carolina, and they will go to retreat sites, show sites to sell their fabrics. Lovely husband and wife. This lovely couple. So, I think I'm going to show you the fabric right here. Let me get you back over to the detail camera. And here we go. All right. Bring this back over here. Whoops. Hello. Hello. Okay. So I saw this fabric first. And you know how hard it is to get different types of white fabrics. And I thought it might have been a batik, but it's not. But it's printed. But you know, sometimes you do. If you can find a good pattern on white background, that's a good thing to get. So I got 2 yards of this. Let me bring this over a bit more. Okay. And then, oh my gosh, I saw this and just fell in love with it. And these are all originally from Marshall's Dry Goods too. But look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? It is so deep and rich. I just love it. These are my colors. I love jewel tones. So I got what was left on the bolt, and it probably was almost 2 yards. Yeah, probably 1.5 yards. Then I went back over one more time, and I looked to see. They had just some really, really pretty fabrics. And look at these. Aren't they just beautiful? And the printing they do on these fabrics is really amazing. These are all digitally printed, and they're beautiful. And here is the orange I got to go with my English paper piecing, which I'm always low on oranges. And here's the last one, the purple. So, if you are interested in these fabrics, go to Marshall's Dry Goods, and you will find them, and you'll pay less than I even did, because she, of course, adds her vendor price, which I totally understand and appreciate. So, here are the beautiful fabrics I got. And there's always a little bit of a theme to the colors I choose. But, oh, I love buying new fabric. I wish you could feel these. They're just wonderful. Okay. I love having that second camera. That's very convenient. All right. All right. There we go. All right. I think we're ready to go see photos of the retreat. So, any questions? Oops, where did my my eyeglasses swung under my shirt? I'd be lost without. Oh, and I did want to tell you, wearing my hearing aids to the retreat, big winner, because I didn't feel so alienated this time. And I noticed that the sound at the retreats, because it's a big cavernous room, so it echoes a lot. Sound quality is very bad in there. But sound used to irritate me real badly. And so I was always putting earbuds and listening to an audiobook while there. But now, since I have the hearing aid, I can tell their voices. and it reduced the irritation level to me. And I was able to talk and converse with him. I didn't feel like I had to hide away anymore. So that was really, really nice. I think it really added to my enjoyment of going to the retreat. All right, so I'm first going to show you all about the retreat, and then I'll show you. In fact, you know what? I do have to apologize. If you sent a photo yesterday or today, I didn't get it. I am so sorry. I tried this week when I was at retreat. I tried to stay off the computer because I said I really wanted to be in the moment. All right, so let me come down to now. All right, now I've gone to the show and tell. This is the actual site. Let me bring it over and pin it. All right. This is the sign to the camp, and it's named Camp Walter Johnson. And it's a beautiful story. A man was in World War II, and he was feeling really lonely and a little lost and frightened. And he said the Salvation Army really saved him. So when he passed, he gave his farm to the Salvation Army. And what a gift that was. And the Salvation Army is doing such a beautiful job running it. Here is the room that we are in, and it's probably 40 or 50 by 80. It's a big room, and one end is all windows, and it is, to me, it's just absolutely beautiful. And I sit. In fact, this is one of my little flamingos, so I sit right here. Here's my design wall. I get to look out at all of this beauty every day. Okay. Here is one of our lunch lines, or was this dinner line? Doesn't matter. And they bring out the food and set it all out. And for dinner, they have a dessert. It's just lovely. We really enjoyed ourselves. Another photo of it all lined up. And at every meal, they have a salad bar. And boy, is this a marvelous salad bar. Look at all that. Watermelon, boiled eggs, broccoli, cauliflower, you name it. They've got it all. Cottage cheese, fruit, strawberries, peaches. So, quite a nice, and even some, I think little salamis and things. Really nice salad bar. And this, I just wanted to show you, this is probably a 20-foot deck right off the back of the room. And I go out there and I put my camp chair and sit out to be in the sun every day. Here I am out in that chair, just loving it. So you see, it's a nice big deck right off the room. And it was such beautiful weather. This is Jam Fabrics. And they'll come and set up in the area of the room. To see, this is the end of the room where we bring all of our, we drive our car down, empty it out. We eat over in this area. Jam sets up in this area for a couple of days. And they had wonderful fabric. Here's a little closer up version to show you. But it's just fun, and it's just all done for us. Here is the room from where I sit, and you can see all the tables, and we all have at least 8 feet by 3 feet, which is really generous space. Very, very nice. Here's another view of the room. Now, in here, this is the kitchen area. Here's the food setup table, and then there are some tables where you can sit and eat, and then sewing. So, you know, once we come over to this setup in the morning, we don't have to leave and until we're done in the evening. And the ladies are so nice. They've got the nicest group of ladies coming who are so supportive and fun, and they are just all inclusive, and I love it. All right, and then there's a little stage where we do our show and tell. But this is where I sit. We missed our Kitty. Kitty had her mom in hospice and she couldn't make it this year. We miss her. We were thinking of her. All right. Another room. I tried to take a few more pictures because I really wanted you to get a feel for it. And the restrooms are all over here, so it makes you get up and go walk, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. And another view of the outside. And see this quilt laying on this table? You wait until you see this quilt put together. I'm in love with it. But there's a chapel across, there's a pond right here. I'll show you more of that coming up. Look at this amazing, this is Kaffe Fassett fabric quilt that Michelle was putting together. Okay. Another view out the window. This was the day that the clouds rolled in. We did have rain, I think, on Thursday. And here I am outside enjoying the weather. And here is a view off the deck. And this is a pond. It has a fountain on this end and a fountain on the other end. Here's our snack table, and the young man that was working in the kitchen made us homemade cookies. They were so good. I've got to make homemade cookies again soon. But here we all bring all of our snacks that people enjoy all day long. And here's a video I made for you. Okay, so I just wanted you to really get a feel for where I was. All right, so that's what I consider the facility part of the trip. And you know, I ended up forgetting to take a picture of my room, but it was pretty straightforward. Okay, here are some pictures that just kind of refer to me. When every morning, or if I can remember it, I'll take a picture of me to send to Mark and send to my girls, just to say, I'm still here. I took some daffodils, and by Friday they were looking a little tired, but I loved having them. Then here is my first of the new blocks. This down here was the trial run, and here was the first of the new set. Let's see. Let me get the... I'm always chasing this cursor. Okay. Oh, I don't know if your phone would scan this or not, or if you have to be in person, but the... what is it called? It's like a quilt fest. I think it's mostly for classes and to go spend money, and it's going to be in Raleigh this year, and they haven't had it in North Carolina for a couple of years, so I wanted to make sure I gave you that. And then here's the first row of the new bird quilt hanging up. And there's the 2 rows that I showed you today. I think I'm really, really gonna like this. And I like varying the head and body colors because it makes it a little more sparkly. All right, that was that. And now for the show and tell. I will bring these up. All right. We had Becky here and Karen here, and this is one of the attendees, and these were the two moderators of the show and tell, and they're being so cute. They were just hilarious. It's a big job because they have to hold them until everyone's taken their pictures. So Becky would start counting down, like, I'm not going to keep my arms up here forever, so you better be ready to take the pictures. So cute. And here's the back of the quilt. I don't put much effort in the back of my quilts, nor do I put much money in the back of my quilts, but people love seeing the backs of quilts. I think these are all great. Let me see. And everybody has the best time showing their quilts. This was the center part with the fish bowls was on the giveaway table because the person didn't like it. So another person picked it up and said, I can turn this into a quilt I like. And that's what they did. So just remember, if it's not working for you anymore, pass it on. And look at this jacket. I think she found this and she's finishing it off, and I think that's wonderful. And here is a tote that was made, and I think this was something that was this cast off, or did they make it in a class? There was so much going on, it's hard to remember. Look at that. Is that beautiful or what? How simple. I love the varied background, and of course the fabrics. K-Facet, you can't do any better than that. Here was a quilt that was finished from a class I taught in 2012. And it's the Binding Tool Star. And the same pattern is on our Groups IO site and as the backing of my YouTube site that I did for my daughter in yellows. So I was so tickled she finished this. I love stars. This lovely lady did her stars. Now look at this. Is that the coolest thing? It just shows you when you think you've seen all the versions of a patriotic quilt, just keep on looking. There's something else coming up. Then our Becky, our prize queen, did this amazing quilt. Just lovely. And there she is. Just beautiful. And this is Kathleen, and she goes to, it used to be the Ellie Sankowitz, I believe, and it is handwork, embroidery, big festival they do in Williamsburg in February, I think, of every year. And Kathleen is doing a beautiful job so far on this one. Everyone was so impressed with this quilt. Isn't that just amazing? And then this was from a new lady, Lisa, who came to visit us this year. There's Lisa. And Lisa also was kind to do some chair yoga classes for everyone. That was very nice. And here is the back. Look how that thing is pieced together. Isn't that amazing? And this is a quilt that Nancy is making, and she got some of the blocks or the squares from a yard sale, I believe. And look at the finish she's putting on it. And then we had Pat, who is the queen of Stack and Whack. No, not Stack and Whack. What does she call them? Wacky Kaleidoscope. She loves those. And here is a landscape she did. Very pretty. I wish you could see up close what a wonderful job she did on that little stream. And here is our famous Pilot Mountain that she recreated. There's a little better shot of that. She did an outstanding job. Then she's written a book and she's illustrated it with quilts. So these are the quilts she made that she included in her book. And I think that's one of them. Oh no, this is, let me see. This is Arnola. And, oh gosh, I have forgotten now what that was. I am so sorry, Arnola. Okay. But, oh, I know what it was. It was an amazing machine cover. And she did an outstanding job. There it is. I guess it's good for like a featherweight or a serger. And then she took this class. And this is like a iPad holder. And you'll recognize this one. So, and I don't remember who made this, but I thought it was beautiful. Here we go. I love pinwheels. Oh, this is Carol's. And this is this year's Bonnie Hunter. The one that I thought I'd like to try, but said, nope, I can't, too many pieces. She's already completely finished and quilted it. Is that amazing? Oh my goodness. And look, isn't that beautiful? I wish I knew the names of the patterns, and I don't. But they are beautiful. Carol is, this is Carol right here. And she is very serious about her quilting. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I love a broken wheel quilt. I just think they're gorgeous. Another one of hers. And I think that's it for my show and tell from the spring retreat. The fall retreats have a few more quilts, but we love them all. And our Alberta is here today, so let's show her wonderful quilt. I love the blocks. It's a Bargello type, but look at that. Isn't that fun? And she had leftover blocks, so she put them into placemats. Love that. I'm so glad Miss Alberta's feeling better from having the flu. That's tough to have flu. All right, let's see who is next. We miss our Betty Meisner. I'm going to show one of her fish. Maybe that will let her know we're thinking of her. She's a sweet lady. I should email her and see how she's doing. Okay. Then, let's see who we have. Miss Bonnie has been busy, busy, busy. Here is a dream catcher with an owl in it. She loves her embroidery. It's beautiful. Okay. Then she wanted to just do an art quilt, so she did. Look at her. Love it. And here is a quilt she made for her friend Dan. And he is involved in the I think it's called SAC, but they do reenactments. And so this is a nice, warm, heavy quilt that she made for him. I think that's just wonderful. Okay. Oops, come on. All right. And then she finished this beautiful trellis wall hanging. And I want you to notice that all the butterflies that are in the trellis patches are buttons that she has been holding on to for a while, waiting for the perfect quilt. I love that. And don't forget, if you have any photos of things you love working on, please feel free to send them to us. And let me real quick take a moment and type in our email address, our time to quilt at twc.com. There we go. So there is our email address, and we'd love to see your work. All right, here's from Miss Charlene, and wonderful, beautifully done half square triangle. Okay, and then she's working on these blocks, and I love that it has a homespun type of feel. Whoops, no, pardon me. I love the plaid and the fussy cut pieces. Look at all that. So I can't wait to see what that's going to finish out to look like. Then here is a wonderful four patch star. And the back of the quilt that's coming up, beautiful K facet. Look at this. She finished this wonderful sampler quilt. Very, very good. Okay, and I think that's it for her. That was wonderful. So now next. Let's see. Miss Julie sent us. Miss Julie's working on some floral samplers, and I think they are wonderful. Look at that. So if you ever, and look at her quilting. She wanted to practice her freehand quilting. I mean, it's just beautiful. Way to go. Miss Julie's very talented. She doesn't toot her own horn, but she is talented. Look at this. And I noticed that she cut the little slivers of darker and lighter colors and sewed them down. Isn't that amazing? So Miss Julie, congratulations. Those are lovely. Okay. Let's see. Miss Mary. Here was her. I think it's her final block. She did an outstanding job on. I love her playful use of fabrics. Miss Mary has you recognize her quilts because of the beautiful fabrics. And then there's one more out here. Let me try to find it. Well, let me see if I find it this way. No, I'll go back out. Hold on. Like I told you, my cursor gets to play on two monitors, so it gets very excited. And I've had this monitor for so long, and now I finally get to use it. Oh, this one. This warms my heart. It warms my heart. The center of this quilt were pieces that I gave her from a Merry Mayhem mystery quilt from last year or the year before, and I didn't want to finish it. And look what she's done with it. These exquisite blocks is just lovely. So she made such good use of my unwanted scraps, and she turned it into a beautiful, beautiful quilt. I love that. Love, love, love it. All right. Now, let's see. And I thought I saw Miss Mitty, so I'm just going to show something she sent because it's just so pretty. And this was one of her clients' quilts that uses upholstery fabric as part of the fabric lineup, and it's beautiful because I'm going to be doing that for the first time soon. So thank you, Miss Mitty. All right, now let's see. Nope. I think got to show Miss Vicky's. Oh, okay. Look at this wonderful barn. She wanted to just do a landscape and just give it a whirl, and I think it was very successful. It's very happy. It's so cute. I love the three-dimensional flowers she put down here. Very good use of putting the word joy. I have yet to put writing on my quilt. I don't think I ever have, because I'm a little afraid of it, but she did it. Look at sheep and chickens and pigs and cows and goats. Oh, there's even an owl tucked in there. Isn't that great? And I love her barn and leaves. So she was practicing different skills, and I think it's wonderful. Then she's been doing really great, taking fabric and doing hand embroidery on it. What a wonderful way to polish up your hand embroidery skills. Look at that owl. That is so cute, and I love the fabric series she chose. And this reminds me of my dot mandalas. It's beautiful mandala that she did with hand embroidery. I love this quilt. That is so pretty. And this is the cutest baby quilt. So she's been a busy lady. Oh, look at this. Is that the coolest? And she's framed it. And look, the butterfly has copper antennae. And I love that mushroom, the way she pieced it together. So way to go, Miss Jo. All right, I think that is it for our show and tell. It is nice to be back. I have so much I want to work on this week. In fact, I wrote down some things because now I'm starting to try to focus myself on what do I want to get done. In the winter, you're busy doing Christmas things and Christmas gifts. January and February, I just usually cocoon with something that I feel like. I might decide that very day, I want to work on this. But now with spring and the yard is going to be competing for attention, at some point I'm going to have to buy my plants and plant all my pots out back. But so I wanted to focus myself each week, so I write just a little paragraph. This week I want to quilt my stencil rainbow quilt. I want to bind the sparrow quilt right here that I'm going to give to my daughter Katie after I finish cleaning up wayward stitches. When I say I clean up wayward stitches, I had a wonderful artist one time teach me that don't ever erase, if you draw a bad line or shape, don't erase it before you draw the correct one in. Because if you erase it first and then try to draw the correct one, your hand wants to go right back and draw the incorrect one. So what I do, I follow that in my quilting. If I make a quilt line in the wrong place, I'll come and make it in the right place before I take out the stitches for the wrong stitch. And so that's why I have, and this one, I hadn't quilted, I guess, in long enough, and I made a zillion mistakes on it. So I'll take those out. One of Carol's quilt called Stormfront. Stormfront is a pattern based on the Storm at Sea block. It's constructed using Deb Tucker's 100. Well, thank you for telling us that. I know which one it is too, because I thought the corners kind of look like spaceships. I will, in fact, hold on 1 second. That was so good for you to teach us that. When I finish reading this, I'm going to take us back and show. I'm going to take us back and show that. So, show and tell. So just remember that, and I think I know the one you're talking about. It is very dramatic. Where is that little puppy? Mama. I do remember seeing it because it has such bright colors. So, I guess that's it. Okay. Well, you know what? While I brought it up and we're talking about it, I'm going to show you. Thank you, Miss Mary. Oh, okay. Let's check. There it is. So, I can see it now. Whoops, let me go back. Now that you've explained it that way, and I can see the Storm at Sea effect. So thank you. Oh, Mary, that was wonderful. I love when y'all add stuff like that because you increase our knowledge. Thank you, Miss Mary. That was fun. Okay, so for this week, I want to quilt my stencil rainbow quilt. Then I want to put binding on the sparrow quilt right there after I take all the boo-boos out of it. And then I want to finish putting together my new sparrow quilt top. So we'll see how far I get this week. I still need to get my daughter-in-law's Christmas tree swirl done and get her things mailed to her. She's got a birthday coming up, and I want to try to keep up walking. Now, for fun, I'm still in the mood to work on my paper beads, and I really, really, really want to get back into my bobbin lace. So, what are things that you want to work on? Are any of you brave enough to write down one thing you'd like to work on this week? And because I find if I put it in writing, I'm more likely to do it. So, not always, but a lot. And Mary, thank you. I'm so glad it caught your eye because it's such a dramatic quilt. And now I know. I didn't even realize. It makes sense, too, that it's a Deb Tucker ruler because she's great. She really makes wonderful rulers and wonderful techniques to do what could be a hard skill. She makes it easy. So, but Teresa! Oh, how good to see you, hon. Oh, that's wonderful. So Polly is trying to make a diorama. Woo, I can't wait to see that. Oh, it's so good to see our Teresa. We're so glad. And then Miss Jo said she'd like to receive the hardware for her new IKEA cabinet so she can assemble it and get her second sewing room established. I love it. Oh, we love you too, Miss Teresa. Well, that's good. I'm glad that y'all are working on some things, and I still have to get back to finish cleaning this, and it won't happen this week. I can guarantee you, because every muscle hurts. I went from 0 to 60 on the activity scale, so whoa. But anyway, I wanted to again wish our Andy. We told him, you're the best thing that's happened to this family in years. We wanted to wish him a happy birthday yesterday. My Russell Thursday turned 6 years old. He's such a big boy. And I want to thank Mark for taking such good care of the house and the dogs. And I said, well, did you enjoy your quiet time to yourself? He said, oh, yeah, I had lots of quiet time in between taking care of the three dogs, 2 birds, 3 chickens, and outdoor birds. Sorry, Mark. He was busy too. But I think he got some good nap times in. Yes, happy birthday to everyone. Well, guys, if you don't mind, I'm absolutely exhausted. And I think that my recliner upstairs is calling me. And now that I have the new paper piecing pattern number 14. I did 15 last week, and I think this is 14. And then I think I have 13 left to do. Number 13, not 13 more. But the fabrics are already cut and glued on the paper piecing, so all I have to do is lean back and do some stitches. And that sounds so good. And we've decided to let our favorite Mexican restaurant cook the dinner tonight. So, yay, I'm home. Oh, y'all are so wonderful. I definitely will. But I want to thank you all. And I hope it's okay to share my retreat with you, because I want to give you a little feel for it, so that, and feel free to share pictures of your retreats too, because I love seeing that stuff. And I like to share things like that, so I feel like I'm taking you with me a little bit, you know. And boy, we would have fun together. That would be wonderful. So take good care. Do something special for yourself this week. Don't let the news bring you down. Just try to. We can only do what we can do, and then we need to use our time to our best advantage, which is to fill up our soul and our heart. Okay, everybody? Y'all are the best. And Polly, I can't wait to see how your diorama you make. I love that stuff. Ah, all right, you guys. Y'all take good care of yourself and send me pictures of what you're working on, okay? All right, yeah, stay away from the news, or else you'll want to dig a hole and jump in. And I'm not ready yet. I got a lot of quilts in me still. Take care. Goodbye, everybody. You are the best.